The 22nd of May 2010 is a historical day for Bitcoin. And why? Yes, it's the Bitcoin Pizza Day, where the first ever purchase was made with Bitcoin, where Leslie Haynes, a programmer, bought 2 Papa Joe pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. Yes, you heard me right, for 10,000 Bitcoin. With the equivalent value of round about 41 US dollars, these Bitcoin would now be worth 270 million US dollars. And this shows you that investing 41 US dollars in the year 2010 into Bitcoin would now be worth 270 million US dollars. Bitcoin is slowly but surely slicing its way in the financial system, and it's your duty to at least hold 1 Bitcoin in your portfolio. So yes, let's go over to the charts to find out what we could expect in the immediate short term. And first of all, on the weekly chart, it looks quite bullish for Bitcoin. And why? Yes, we are holding the 200 moving average on the weekly chart, and yes, that is very bullish for the price movement of Bitcoin. So we could expect, if we're going to stay with a weekly candle over the 200 moving average, which is round about the 26,183 US dollars, then we could expect Bitcoin will stay above this line, and we could expect a further pump all the way up at our price target of round about 33,000 US dollars. But first of all, we have to go in the lower time frames to really find out what we could expect in the immediate short term. And if we go over to the daily chart, yes, we were consolidating in the symmetrical triangle where Bitcoin reached a high of 31,000 US dollars, and then we saw that we broke this very important trend towards the downside. And guys, the price target of a symmetrical triangle is always the width of the symmetrical triangle, and we're going to drag it over to the potential breakout point, and our price target would be exactly at the 24,500 US dollars, where we can see we have a lot of support and resistance exactly in these areas. And if we turn on the VPVR, then we can see, yes guys, we are having this major gap in between these very important levels of the 27,180 US dollars and all the way back down here at the 24,800 US dollars, all the way down to this level, we can see a big cluster of support. So yes, if we're going to break towards the downside, we could expect that Bitcoin will get some major support exactly in these areas. But guys, what if we are going to turn around in these regions and we're going to see a massive pump towards the upside? For that, we're going to go on the lower time frames on the 4-hour chart to really find out what we could expect in the immediate short term. So on the 4-hour chart, yes guys, we broke down from the symmetrical triangle and the price movement came all the way back down to the levels of 25,800 US dollars, where we got this bounce towards the upside and perfectly found support at this major support box, which I told you in the previous video. And we saw this symmetrical triangle form once again, and we already saw a breakout towards the downside. And yes, this price movement tells us that this is quite bearish, because yes, we can see that we are forming lower highs for Bitcoin. We have this high forming a lower high and even a lower high, and we can see that the price movement broke the symmetrical triangle towards the downside, and we have a perfect retest at this major trend line. So yes, this would have been a perfect shorting opportunity to enter exactly on this retest with a price target all the way at our support. But yes guys, we could also see that the price movement will turn around and that we're going to come back above the symmetrical triangle and this trend line, and that we're going to see a breakout towards the upside, and that this was just a major fake out towards the downside. So yes, in the short term, this line is really going to be important, that we're going to break this trend line and that we're going to form higher highs for Bitcoin in comparison of the previous highs. So that we could expect that we're going to see this breakout from the 27,700 US dollars, and that we could expect a breakout all the way to this major trend and this resistance, which is round about the 28,000 US dollar level. But guys, for this, Bitcoin really has to turn around, and we have to see that we're going to break this support, which now turned into resistance. So yes, maybe we're going to see a consolidation in these areas with a breakout of this major trend. So if you always want to stay up to date, make sure to sign up to my free Telegram group, where I always keep you up to date what is happening in the charts. So let's go over to Ethereum to find out what is Ethereum doing at the moment. And yes, we could see the same scenario play out for Ethereum. We're having this major support and this very important trend line round about the 1,700 US dollar level, where we could expect, if we're going to see this dump for Bitcoin, that Ethereum and the overall crypto market is also going to get this dump all the way back down to these levels with maybe just a quick wick, and that we're going to see this bounce, this strong bounce from this very important level. Because yes, on the chart of Bitcoin and also for Ethereum, we can see a major support and a trend line exactly in these areas where we could expect a bounce. But if we look at the price movement for Ethereum, then we can see, yes, this looks a little bit better than for Bitcoin, because we're moving sideways. And if we go over on the 4-hour chart for Ethereum, we can see that Ethereum is really gearing up and that we could expect a breakout from these regions. And why? Yes, we are seeing these lows and Ethereum is forming higher lows. And that is first of all bullish. So if we're going to see that Ethereum will form some kind of a W and that we're going to break this major trend towards the upside, then we could expect, yes, we're going to see a higher price movement for Ethereum. So guys, if we're going to break this level, we could open a trade exactly in these areas with a take profit round about this major resistance. We could take it all the way up to the level of 1,940, and if we're going to take this trade, we should pull our stop loss exactly underneath the previous low, and then we could expect that the price movement is going to get this major breakout. But guys, I would wait until we're going to break this major trend line round about the levels of 1,820, because then we could expect this breakout towards the upside. But guys, what are the bullish news? Why could we expect a pump towards the upside? If we go over to the DXY, the dollar currency index, and yes, we can see we had this major high and then we saw this dump towards the downside, forming this lower high. And like I told you in the previous video, if we're going to form a lower high for the DXY, we could expect that the price movement will come all the way back down to this major support zone, and then we could expect this pump for Bitcoin. So yes, at the moment the dollar currency index is at this critical level. Are we going to form a high or even a higher high? And Bitcoin is going to dump all the way back down to the 24,500 US dollar level? Or are we going to see that the DXY will turn around exactly in these areas and we could expect a massive pump for Bitcoin and also Ethereum and the overall crypto market? And guys, if you want a dollar cost average into all of these cryptocurrencies, make sure to go down in the video description below and sign up with my BITGET link where you receive a massive deposit bonus. But guys, before we're going to end the stream, let's go over to some news to find out what is happening in the overall crypto industry. Tether boosts off its financial stability after strong profits. Money moved out of banks. And yes, we can see that the stablecoin USDT Tether is taking all of their money off from the banks. They pulled out 4.5 billion out of banks. And this is also what exactly you should do. Take your money off from the banks and invest it into any stablecoin or also cryptocurrencies. Because yes, you don't want to hold all your reserve and all your savings in the banks, because yes, sooner or later they will collapse as Bitcoin slices its way through the financial system. Crypto community reacts to Ledger Wallet's secret recovery phrase service. And that is actually something that guys, you have to be careful about, because they have this new feature that they can actually recover your seed phrase by owning a part of your seed phrase, which is not good. Because yes, you want to hold your cryptocurrencies safe from any centralized authorities, governments or banks. And this means that yes, if you're going to hold Bitcoin on a wallet, you should know how to recover and how to safely store your Bitcoin. Because yes, this is the nature of Bitcoin, so that actually no third party, no government, no bank and no centralized authorities has access to your wealth. And with that being said, it is very important to safeguard your cryptocurrencies. First step, take all your cryptocurrencies off the exchange and only leave the amount that you need to trade, and hold your crypto in your wallet where only you have access to the wallet and you own the recovery phrase. If you like this quick update, smash up the like button and subscribe, and make sure to be for crypto, and we see each other in the next video.